I think all of us see huge value in compact, ultra-light, and ultra-slim fixed blades, particularly when they're made out of good stainless steel. So at a DNA level, I feel like the SOG Altier FX has a lot going for it. But some of the final design characteristics, I believe, were not quite executed as they should, and definitely make me think twice about its total capability. So in today's video, I'm going to unpack all of the capabilities and high performance points and those low marks as well to help you determine what this Altier FX has going for it and whether or not it's worth throwing in your rotation. I'll run in the pocket knife version of this as well and some competitive options that we're going to take a look at. So let's hit the high points before I dive into the low. And the first thing that really connected with me is the blade profile and shape. At 3.5 inches, an aggressive drop point, so it's going to pierce really well, but still giving you enough belly to do a lot of different slicing tasks, giving that crossover capability. At 0.11, so it's nice and slicey, and having 154 cm steel. That's a good rust-resistant steel, decent edge retention, easy to resharpen, and definitely going to fight the rust better than a lot of high carbons that you'll find kind of in this size range. And with a knife that's going to be on your body a lot and things like that, close to your body, there's sweat, humidity, it's just going to fight against that rust well and have good edge retention for a compact tool. And that blade profile is just super, super slicey. So I was really happy with the performance across the board, regardless if I was doing more like utilitarian cardboard cutting and rope cutting and those type of activities, doing carving and feather sticks. It just bites into wood very easily. Food prep, very easy to do as well. And just general use, this does exactly what it should and is executing those tasks very well. So I'm very pleased with that front end side of things. Now they have several different colors. This is not the only option. This was just the cheapest option that was available for me to pick up. So I saved myself some money and went with this high vis purple. And then things start to slip off the rails a little bit. The first is with this handle. At 4.2 inches long, it fits my large size hands just easily enough. I don't feel cramped in any way. Got a little bit of a guard working for us just to keep us into place there. We got blocky squared off jimping as well as a hit up front. So you could do like a caping move if you need to and just guide that knife if you wanted to, right there, like that. Just gives you a little something to grab onto. And then you got a little bird beak with the lanyard hold out the back. It is 0.42 on the thickness, so it's very slim. That's a selling point because it means that you could wear it as a neck knife. You could carry it under your clothing. It's not going to print very much. The problem is that the scales are not flush with the handle, and what you end up getting on that tang is a crowning that's not sharp on the sides. They like milled it, but when you're putting pressure on such a thin blade and you start putting any type of like wood carving, harder cuts through different material, it creates a hot spot all the way around the blade. If the handle scales had been flush, we wouldn't be running into that issue. So that is a major problem, that the ergonomics just are not there for extended cutting. A quick cut and that's it, sure. You just need to open a package real fast, fine. You just want to cut a lime, or something, okay. But other than that, it's just not comfortable to use, particularly if you think you're going to use this as like in tandem with a larger tool for any sort of outdoor woods craft task. Not going to happen. There is probably enough grip for like a self-defense roll if necessary. I don't ever recommend that unless you know what you're doing, but there's probably enough traction there. But there's just, if it was just flush, it would be so much better. Now you may have noticed that there's no hardware on the handle, and that's because they click in together. They can be removed, and then there's a skeletonized handle underneath that you could paracord wrap. So there is the option for that if you want to. That would definitely help with the ergonomics. If you wanted to go in that direction and then make it fuller, and then it would contour around that crowned spine and just be more comfortable. So that is a solution if you like what you're seeing in there to give you better ergonomics. It's an interesting feature to have. It's different. It doesn't make me go like, oh my gosh, I have to have this knife because of that little feature with no hardware, but it's cool, it's different. And the scales seem to be holding up well in the sense that they're not loosening, popping off, but the polymer is pretty thin around where they grab each other. So I don't know, if you are popping this on and off a lot, over time you might get some wearing and possibly even damage to those handle scale attachments to make them click in and cement with each other. Now to the sheath, which also has some issues. Again, the idea is there. It's so slim. It's like 2.5 ounces. It's so lightweight. This would be easy to conceal in some sort of little compact survival kit underneath clothing. It would be perfect for that, if not for some of the things that we're going to highlight. Now, the polymer, decent polymer. You got like 3 different drainage hole portions. So if you're like a rafting guide, canoeing a lot, like there's a lot. Stainless steel, you know, there's a lot going for it. Hole there for, you know, a neck knife if you want to. Comes with this ambidextrous clip here that is like proprietary. It's, you know, reversible, angleable. It's fine. You can get this on most belts. It's not like a deal breaker to me. It probably would have been better if they just went with like a molly lock or something, and that would have just been even slimmer. You could probably work something in with these little slits, which can go through certain LBE systems, Piles webbing. You could, you know, fit through there and then, you know, attach it to Piles webbing that way. But it is polymer that does kind of, you know, moves a little bit. So it's just something to think about. You can unscrew this whole system and, you know, put it to the other side there. Good thumb ramp. Now, the way they designed it was so that you could use it without the handle scales on. So that is smart. That, you know, you can, it doesn't wrap and contour around the handle scales to lock it into place in the sheath. It grabs it with this tiny little tab right there. And it grabs around the sharpening ricasso right there. The problem is you can see inside there, it's already wearing, and the seating is already starting to loosen up. And it was not like, look at that, I fished it out. So particularly if you're gonna be carrying this upside down like as a neck knife, there's already wear happening, and it's becoming looser and looser every time I use the tool. So over time, I doubt this will even grab and sit in there properly because the polymer is not dense enough, and it's grabbing onto a very sharp portion, and basically the blade, it's not dulling the blade, but it's like around it right there. Just, it's a bad tension point. I get what they were trying to do. It's genius that you could do paracord or these scales and you can still use the sheath and it doesn't contour around that, but they should have come up with something to like grab that guard. I don't know, something would have helped with that. So that's also just the way it was engineered doesn't execute what the goal was. Now I'll quickly run in the pocket knife version, and I will be doing some sort of separate video on that at some point. It's almost identical in size, particularly on the handles. The handles are like identical, cool, no hardware. Under 2 ounces, I think it's like 1.9 ounces. 154 cm again, full flat grind, really slicey, really smooth. Very, very smooth. My son loves working with this. It's one of his favorites just because of how easy it is to open and close. Deep ride, loop over, ambidextrous pocket clip. So that one's about $125, and that brings us to the pricing. You know, made in Taiwan, excellent, no problems there, 154 cm. $150 on average, $150 for what we're seeing here when there are so many other competitive options in this size range with even better steel sometimes. You know, I'm thinking of like several models from EDC that they have with like S35VN. I can't remember what the name of that blade is off the top of my head, but that one's like, I think 130 maybe. I'll run in I'll run in a few for you right now, just showing you, you know, then that's American made, lifetime warranty, and doesn't have some of the hang-ups that I'm seeing with this. You know, as just an example here, here is a Master Hunter in CPM 3V steel. I can easily pick that up for like 150 maybe, same price point, much larger, way better steel. Yes, made in Taiwan, but you know, sheath that doesn't have all those issues, way more ergonomic. Now, it's a different idea because it's much larger. This is supposed to be slim, compact, lightweight. This is, you know, thicker, bigger, and larger, but you just see the material value there. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense at $150 for this tool. There's just so many better options out there. And ultimately, even though it's much fatter, you know, a Mora will be way more ergonomic, and ultimately it's just going to be a better performer because of the things that we've been talking about. So guys, there you have it. I mean, as like a skeleton blade, there is a lot of potential, good materials. You know, you paracord wrap it, you relieve a lot of that hot spot issue, and then do a custom Kydex sheath, and you're ready to rock and roll. But as it stands, there's just so many other variant options out on the market that just tend to make more sense. You can just get more for your money. But I look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts, particularly if you own one of these. How has it been performing for you? How's it held up over the long haul? And do you connect with it or not? I always appreciate your guys' comments and feedback. If you haven't yet subscribed, I do invite you to subscribe and check out that other video popping up. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.